Hello everybody and welcome. Now, in the previous videos we looked at understanding your why. We looked at setting smart goals, particularly we looked at the one thing planning model. We looked at learning, and specifically we talked about feedback. And today I want to look at generating energy. Now this is something very close to my heart, and something I really believe in. Perhaps I believe in this more than I believe in anything else. So without any further ado, let me launch into my thoughts around generating energy. To be a high performer, you require energy. You require clarity, focus, enthusiasm, get up and go, a sort of an intrinsic drive, intrinsic motivation. And interestingly enough, these can be developed. And what I want to talk about in this video is the things that I believe are very important in helping you develop those. So let's start. To develop a high performance mindset by generating energy, you need to take care of your physical, your mental, your emotional and your spiritual well-being. You need to take time for this. Take time for self-care every day. And I've underlined every day because this is the key to what I'm going to talk about today. The key is every day, day in, day out. So for example, I do, it's 100 push-ups a day, like a rock. But not like a rock because I do 100 push-ups once. Like a rock because I do 100 push-ups every day, day in, day out. Now, I miss a day every now and again, but broadly I do my push-ups, I do my calisthenics, I do my weights, I talk about all of this. The secret is every day. So if you do 100 push-ups a day, or you build up, you start by doing 5, and you build to 10, 15, 20, and you get to doing your 50 or your 100 push-ups a day, and you do it every day, times 365 days a year for 10 years, think how many push-ups you've done. Think about the impact this has on your body and the impact that has then on your mental well-being. So the secret is every day. Routine, forming habits to do things every day religiously and holding yourself accountable to doing them. I journal every day, as I've mentioned before in other videos. And the main purpose of the journaling for me is not to get off my chest or not to share my thoughts, or not to record my history. The real purpose is to hold myself accountable, because I log on my journal every day whether I did the various things I'm going to talk about to you now. So, the first thing I want to talk about is, again, the idea of everyday and routine, maintaining consistency, particularly maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and getting up at the same time every day, even when you're on holidays. Now, again, there are exceptions to all rules, and one's allowed to have the exceptions. That's what makes the rule. But in general, that you consistently go to bed and get up at the same time and form a rhythm and a routine in your sleep patterns. This will allow you to sleep better, and it will allow you to be more productive. When you go to bed, you'll actually fall asleep. When you wake up, you'll actually be awake, as opposed to being half awake. We all know what I'm talking about. The second area that I think one has to focus on is a regular exercise. And again, you'll see it underlined the word regular. It's about doing it day in and day out. And remember that rest is a part of exercise. It's only when you're resting that the muscle builds, be it a mental muscle, be it a physical muscle, be it an emotional muscle. But it's only when you're resting the muscle actually repairs and grows stronger. So resting is an integral part of training. However, you do need to exercise regularly. And by exercise, I mean stretching. You need to stretch, particularly as you grow older. It's really important that you maintain flexibility and that you maintain suppleness and that you maintain balance. And stretching and doing calisthenics and doing yoga really helps you in that regard. Again, lifting weights. It is really important to lift weights. The vast majority of us are not out lifting rocks and hunting saber-toothed tigers and carrying home a bear on our shoulder. We're not doing physical work. We're not doing physical effort. There are people who are out there working hard physically, but the vast majority do not. We work with our heads. and we're sitting on our bottoms most of the day. So it's really important that we lift weights, ideally heavy weights. It puts pressure on the joints, strengthens the joints, builds the muscles, strengthens the bones. Really, really important. Cardiovascular. Again, it depends what you want, but if you want to be physically fit, you need, in fact, to engage in cardiovascular activity, to build the capacity of your lungs, to build the capacity of your heart to pump blood, your vascular system. So it's very, very important that you take exercise. It can be walking, brisk walking, it can be running, it can be swimming, it can be cycling. There are many forms of exercise, many types of exercise that you can engage in, but it's really important that you do it regularly. So for example, I stretch twice a day, every morning and every evening. I lift weights 3 times a week. I run 4 times a week. And my running will be interval training, it will be easy runs, and it'll be long, slow distance. My long, slow distance will be typically a 20k run with my longest run, and my shortest run will probably be a 3k run when I'm doing my speed work, my interval training. And so again, think about this. Think about what can you do and how can you start and how can you build a routine. And this again is a key word, regular, a routine of exercise. Day in, day out. It doesn't have to be an awful lot, but it has to be consistent. Diet. We live in a very strange world. We live in a world where we eat all the wrong foods and far too much of them. I'm a great believer in a healthy diet. And let me explain what I mean by a healthy diet. And before I do, let me just talk about weight gain just for one moment. Most people think that eating fat is what makes you fat. It's not. It's eating sugar that makes you fat. So excess sugar is converted into fat and stored in the body. The problem with our diet today is there's too much sugar in our diet, in everything we eat. So eliminating sugar from your diet as best you can is really, really important. Carbs, by the way, are sugar. And I want you to think about foods the following way. Think about fruit and vegetables. We all know what they are. They're fruit and vegetables. Think about things that have a face or come from something that have a face. So meat, fish, eggs, and so on. Milk, dairy. Call those fats. And everything else is carb or a sugar. And in general, you should try and eliminate the carbs and sugar from your diet as best you can, but you shouldn't combine the carbs and sugar, sugars, and the fats together. So if you're eating fats, eat fats with loads of vegetables and loads of whatever and salads, or eat carbs if you're going to eat them with loads of vegetables and loads of salads. But don't mix the fats and the carbs, and ideally eliminate the carbs. Intermittent fasting is really, really helpful. We eat too much and we eat too regularly, and the idea of intermittent fasting is to restrict the window within which you eat food. I try to eat OMAD, 1 meal a day. Right now I'm eating 8-16. I'm eating an 8-hour block and fasting for 16, which means I don't eat from 6 o'clock in the evening until lunchtime the following day. So I eat my light meal in the evening, my main meal at lunchtime. So around 1 o'clock I eat something substantial. And then around 5 or 6 o'clock I eat something light, and that's sort of it for the day. Don't snack in between, and I don't eat anything until the following day at lunchtime. But remember, of that 16 hours I'm asleep for 8 of them, so it's not as big a deal as it actually seems, and it's very easy to skip breakfast. In fact, many people skip breakfast already. So the idea of intermittent fasting, not combine your carbs and fats, and remember the carbs and sugar, they are in fact what make you fat, not fats. The next one's a little bit different. The next one I want to talk about, a network, the idea of developing a strong network. If you want to feel strong personally, if you want to have a high performance mentality or mindset, it's important that you surround yourself with people like that, who think that way, who are aspiring to the same things, who lift you up as opposed to dragging you down. And if you have people who are dragging you down, that you move away from them. And so again, look for a network, I use the word strong, a strong network. It doesn't have to be an awful lot of people, but it has to be the right kind of people. People who support you and help you develop and help you grow. Identifying practice and interests that keep you happy and keep you healthy as you strive for bigger goals. When I think about this, I think about getting on my bike and heading off to the hills, going out for a ride on my bike, going for a long hike over a mountain or something. Think about things that are separate from your work. It's a different kind of activity, something that's just pure pleasure, but it keeps you healthy and it keeps you happy. You're outdoors, you're in the fresh air, ideally you're exercise or something, and it creates space and time to think and to reflect. So, I mean, for example, trekking is a wonderful one. You're away from everybody, you're in nature, ideally the phone is turned off, you're getting exercise, and you're creating space for your mind, and space for your body, and space for your spirit. Find a sense of purpose, identify your passion and work towards it. If you don't have some sense of why you're here or what you're trying to accomplish, or some sense of purpose, some sense of contribution or giving back, it's very, very hard to focus on high performance. High performance sort of follows from a sense of, I want to accomplish something, I'm here to try to do something. So you will know from, if you've watched previous videos of mine, that my purpose is to become all I can be and help everybody I meet become all they can be. So that's really what I'm about, and hence these videos. So having a sense of that is really, really important. And the last thing I want to talk about, which is sort of overarching over all of this, is the concept of meditation. And I just want you to think about meditation. And by meditation, I don't mean that you're sitting there repeating a mantra and that you have to go off to India and study for years. I mean simple mindfulness, that you practice a routine of putting yourself in a mindful state. So for example, sit quietly, straight up, sit your back straight, your legs at an angle like so, your hands on your legs, and you still the eyes, you still the mind, still the body. You do a body scan, you rest the body, you watch your breathing in, out, soft belly, soft on the way in, belly on the way out. And you get into this thing, you don't try to meditate, just get into a position of meditating, a position where meditation can happen, a meditative state, by stilling your body, stilling your mind, allowing thoughts to drift away. And there's many, many great videos out there on how to meditate, and I encourage you to go and do it. I meditate again every morning for half an hour, every evening for half an hour, and I consider that and the running the two most important things that I have in my life, in fact, in terms of developing a high performance mindset. So those are my thoughts around taking care of yourself, self-care, mentally, emotionally, spiritually and physically, to allow you to develop a high performance mindset. And again, if any of this resonates with you, if you want any further information on it, please feel free to contact me. As you can see, this is something that I'm passionate about and I love to talk to people about, so I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Thank you very much.